Unexpected reunion. The January wind howled outside Boston Memorial Hospital as Sophia Reed gripped the emergency room counter, her knuckles white with tension. Her dark hair hung in damp tendrils around her face, and her breath came in short gasps that had nothing to do with the snowstorm she'd just battled through. "Please," she managed between contractions. "My water broke an hour ago." "The contractions are 5 minutes apart." The nurse glanced up from her computer, concern etching her features. "We're short-staffed because of the blizzard, but I'll get you admitted right away." "Is someone coming to be with you?" Sophia shook her head, ignoring the flicker of pity in the nurse's eyes. "I'm on my own." 20 minutes later, Sophia lay in a hospital bed, trying to breathe through another contraction when the door opened. Her heart stopped at the sight of the man in the doorway, tall, with familiar hazel eyes that widened in recognition. "Nathan," she whispered. Dr. Nathan Wells stood frozen, clipboard clutched in his hand. 3 years had passed since their divorce, but time seemed to collapse between them. "Sophia," he finally said, his professional demeanor slipping for just a moment. I didn't know you were still in Boston." "I moved back 6 months ago," she replied, wincing as another contraction began. "I didn't know you worked here." Nathan hesitated, then stepped forward. "I'm the only OB on duty tonight because of the storm." He paused. "If you'd prefer someone else—" "There isn't time," she gasped, doubling over. "Please, Nathan." He nodded, immediately shifting into doctor mode. "I need to examine you to see how far along you are." As Nathan checked her dilation, Sophia stared at the ceiling, memories washing over her. Their whirlwind romance during his residency. The small apartment they'd shared. The devastating fight that had ended it all when his career had consumed everything, leaving nothing for their marriage. "You're at 7 centimeters, he said, his voice professional but gentle. "This baby is coming fast." Hours blurred together as Sophia labored through the night. Nathan never left her side, his steady presence both comforting and torturous. In moments of clarity between contractions, she caught him watching her with questions in his eyes that he didn't voice. "Push, Sophia," he encouraged as dawn approached. "I can see the head." With a final, tremendous effort, Sophia pushed, and the room filled with the powerful cry of her daughter entering the world. Nathan gently placed the tiny, squirming infant on her chest. "She's beautiful," he whispered, something unreadable in his expression. Sophia looked down at her daughter's face, the shape of her eyes, the curve of her tiny nose, and felt a wave of panic. The resemblance was unmistakable. Nathan was cleaning up, his back to her, when he asked quietly, "When is her birthday?" "January 15th, Sophia replied, knowing what he was really asking. He turned slowly, mental calculations evident in his expression. 9 months after March." Sophia nodded slightly, tears forming. March, when they'd had one night together after running into each other at their favorite restaurant. One night of vulnerability, of pretending their hearts weren't shattered beyond repair. Nathan's gaze moved from Sophia to the baby and back again. His eyes widened with realization, but instead of the anger or accusation she expected, his expression softened into something else entirely. "What's her name?" he asked, his voice barely audible above the storm that continued to rage outside. Sophia hesitated, then answered, Lily Reed." Nathan nodded, a storm of emotions crossing his face. Outside, the snow continued to fall, blanketing the world in white, while inside, 3 lives stood on the precipice of change. Revelation. The hospital room grew quiet as Nathan stared at baby Lily, recognition dawning in his eyes. Sophia clutched her daughter closer, heart racing with every second of his silence. "She's mine, isn't she?" Nathan finally asked, his voice soft but steady. Sophia nodded, tears threatening. "I found out I was pregnant weeks after that night. I tried calling you, but—" She trailed off, remembering the disconnected number, the unanswered emails. "I was in Guatemala with Doctors Without Borders," Nathan said, running a hand through his dark hair. "I changed my number before leaving. I never thought—" He stepped closer, his gaze fixed on Lily's tiny face. "Why didn't you try harder to reach me?" "Because I was done chasing you," Sophia replied, a hint of old pain in her voice. "Our marriage ended because you were never present, Nathan." Always another emergency, another country, another cause more important than us. Nathan flinched, but didn't argue. Outside, the blizzard intensified, rattling the windows. "The roads are being closed," he said after checking his phone. "You can't go home in this." "We'll be fine at the hospital until—" "My apartment is 2 blocks away," Nathan interrupted. "I have a guest room. You both need somewhere warm and quiet to recover." Sophia wanted to refuse, but exhaustion weighed heavily on her. "Just until the storm passes," she conceded. 3 hours later, Sophia sat on Nathan's couch, watching him prepare a makeshift bassinet from a drawer lined with soft blankets. His spacious apartment was surprisingly warm, filled with books, plants, and photographs from his medical missions. Nothing like the sterile space they'd once shared. "You've changed," she observed as he gently placed sleeping Lily in the drawer. 3 years will do that," he replied, his fingers lingering on Lily's tiny hand. "I've had time to think about what matters." He looked up at Sophia. "I'm not angry if that's what you're worried about?" "Surprised, yes, but not angry." "You should be," Sophia whispered. "I kept your daughter from you." "You tried to tell me." Nathan sat beside her, careful to maintain distance. "And I wasn't exactly reliable before." He hesitated. "I want to be in her life, Sophia. Not just financially, really in her life." Sophia studied him, searching for the ambitious doctor who had always prioritized his career. Instead, she found a man looking at their daughter with unmistakable love. "We'll figure it out," she promised, too tired for decisions. "One day at a time." That night, as Sophia drifted to sleep in Nathan's guest room, she heard him in the hallway, whispering to Lily during a late-night feeding. His gentle voice carried through the door as he promised their daughter the world. And Sophia wondered if Nathan Wells had finally learned how to make promises he could keep. New beginnings. The blizzard lasted 3 days, trapping Sophia and Lily in Nathan's apartment. 3 days became a week when Sophia's building lost power. A week became 2 as they fell into an unexpected rhythm, Nathan adjusting his hospital schedule to be home more, Sophia navigating early motherhood with her ex-husband as an unexpectedly attentive co-parent. "You're good with her," Sophia admitted one evening, watching Nathan rock Lily to sleep, his large hands cradling their daughter with surprising tenderness. "I've delivered hundreds of babies, but never thought I'd have one of my own," he replied, his gaze never leaving Lily's peaceful face. "I always thought there'd be time later when I'd built my career." Sophia looked away. "That was our problem, wasn't it? You were always waiting for later while I was asking for now." Nathan placed Lily in her crib, a real one now, hastily purchased and assembled in the corner of his living room. "I was wrong," he said simply. "About a lot of things." The admission hung in the air between them, fragile and unexpected. Later that night, as they shared takeout dinner at his kitchen counter, Nathan asked the question that had been hovering unspoken for days. "What happens when the weather clears? When your apartment has power again?" Sophia set down her fork. "I go home, Nathan. This doesn't change everything that happened between us." "I know," he agreed, surprising her. "But it changes some things. We're parents now, together or not." As January melted into February, Sophia found herself still at Nathan's apartment, inventing reasons to delay leaving. Her apartment was too cold for a newborn. Moving would disrupt Lily's developing routine. The truth, which she barely admitted to herself, was that watching Nathan with Lily was healing something she'd thought permanently broken. One night, as they sat together on his couch while Lily slept, their hands accidentally brushed, reaching for the remote. The familiar electricity between them hadn't diminished with time. "I've missed you," Nathan confessed, his voice low in the dimly lit room. "Not just these past years, but before that, too, when I was physically present but mentally gone." Sophia felt her carefully constructed walls wavering. "I've missed you too," she admitted. "The you that's here now, not the shadow of a husband I used to chase." When Nathan leaned forward, his intention clear in his eyes, Sophia didn't pull away. His lips met hers hesitantly, a question rather than a demand. She answered by moving closer, her hands finding their way to the back of his neck, familiar territory after years apart. The kiss deepened, years of longing and regret channeled into a moment of reconnection. Nathan's arms encircled her waist, pulling her closer until she was nearly in his lap. "Sophia," he whispered against her lips, his breath warm and inviting. "I don't want to rush this." She pulled back slightly, studying his face in the soft light. The ambitious doctor who'd once prioritized his career above all else had been replaced by a man who looked at her with patient devotion. "We shouldn't complicate things," she said, even as her body betrayed her words by leaning into his touch. "Lily needs stability, not confused parents." "Nothing about how I feel is confused," Nathan replied, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "I've had 3 years to understand exactly what I lost." Before Sophia could respond, Lily's cry pierced the moment. They broke apart, the spell temporarily broken as Nathan went to check on their daughter. Watching him through the doorway, speaking softly to Lily as he changed her diaper with practiced ease, Sophia felt her heart constrict. This version of Nathan, patient, present, devoted, was everything she'd once begged him to be. But as Lily settled back to sleep and Nathan returned to the couch, Sophia maintained a careful distance. Old wounds didn't heal overnight, and trust, once broken, required more than tender moments to rebuild. "We need boundaries," she said firmly. "For Lily's sake." Nathan nodded, disappointment evident, but respect stronger. "For now," he agreed, his eyes promising patience. "But Sophia, I'm not going anywhere this time. Whatever happens between us, I'm here for both of you." In the quiet of Nathan's apartment, with their daughter sleeping peacefully, Sophia allowed herself to consider that some endings were actually disguised beginnings, waiting for the right moment to bloom. Breaking Point March arrived with tentative sunshine and the quiet celebration of Lily's 2-month milestone. Sophia had finally returned to her own apartment, but the boundaries she'd established were increasingly blurred. Nathan visited daily, sometimes staying for dinner, other times just long enough to hold Lily while Sophia showered or caught a brief nap. They had fallen into an unmarried domesticity that confused friends and family alike. "What exactly is happening between you two?" Sophia's sister Madeline asked during a rare moment alone, while Nathan had taken Lily for a walk in the park across the street. "Co-parenting," Sophia replied automatically, though the word felt insufficient for the lingering glances and accidental touches that sparked between them. "Right," Madeline said skeptically. "And that's why he looks at you like you're the sun and moon combined?" Before Sophia could respond, the doorbell rang. She opened it to find not Nathan and Lily, but Eleanor Wells, Nathan's elegant, intimidating mother. "I thought it was time I met my granddaughter," Eleanor announced, sweeping into the apartment with the authority of someone used to commanding rooms. "And had a conversation with the woman who kept her existence a secret for months." Sophia's spine stiffened. "Hello, Eleanor." Nathan took Lily for a walk. "They should be back shortly." Eleanor surveyed the apartment with critical eyes. "I see you're still pursuing that photography hobby instead of a real career." "It's not a hobby. I have a successful business," Sophia replied evenly, gesturing to the framed magazine covers featuring her work. Eleanor's gaze softened slightly. "I suppose talent is talent, regardless of the field." She sat primly on the edge of the sofa. "Now about my son. What are your intentions?" "Intentions?" Sophia echoed, incredulous. "We're not teenagers, Eleanor." "No, you're divorced adults with a child," Eleanor countered. "Nathan has declined 3 prestigious positions in the past month to stay in Boston. He's never declined career advancement before." Sophia absorbed this information with surprise. "I never asked him to do that." "You didn't have to," Eleanor said, her voice gentler now. "He's trying to be what you always wanted, present. But is it too late? Because if it is, he deserves to know before he restructures his entire life around a second chance you won't give." The front door opened before Sophia could respond. Nathan entered with Lily bundled against his chest, his smile freezing when he saw his mother. "Mom, what are you doing here?" Meeting my granddaughter, Eleanor replied smoothly, rising to approach them. She's beautiful, Nathan. The tension in the room was palpable as Eleanor cooed over Lily. Nathan shot Sophia questioning glances, which she avoided. Later, after Eleanor departed with promises to visit again soon, Nathan confronted Sophia in the kitchen. What did she say to you? You've been quiet all evening. Sophia placed the last clean bottle on the drying rack. Is it true you turned down positions at Johns Hopkins and Mayo Clinic? Nathan leaned against the counter. Yes. Why? You know why, he said softly. They're not in Boston. Sophia closed her eyes briefly. You can't rebuild your life around us, Nathan. That's not fair to you. I'm making different choices now, he insisted. Choices I should have made years ago. Until you resent us for holding you back, Sophia countered, old fears surfacing. Just like before. Nathan's expression darkened. That's not what happened. I never resented you. Then why did you miss our anniversary to take that fellowship in Chicago? Why was I always competing with your career for attention? The questions that had haunted their divorce finally spilled out. Why was I never enough? You were always enough, Nathan said, his voice cracking. I was the one who wasn't enough. Not present enough. Not mature enough to balance ambition with love. But I've changed. People don't change that fundamentally, Sophia argued, tears threatening. Becoming a father changed me, Nathan insisted, moving closer. Seeing you again changed me. Or maybe it just revealed who I always wanted to be. From the nursery, Lily began to cry, interrupting their confrontation. By the time Nathan had settled her back to sleep, Sophia had made a decision. I think we need some space, she said when he returned. Real space, not this daily half-life we've been living. You should take those job offers, Nathan. Be the doctor you've worked to become. Nathan looked stricken. And Lily, us? We'll figure out a custody arrangement, Sophia said, unable to meet his eyes. As for us, there is no us. There's just the past, and I can't keep reliving it. As Nathan left that night, shoulders slumped in defeat, Sophia watched from the window, wondering if protection from potential future pain was worth the certain ache of present loneliness. The bridge between April brought rain showers and an uneasy silence between Nathan and Sophia. Their interactions became formal, centered exclusively around Lily's care and schedule. Nathan continued working at Boston Memorial, having declined the out-of-state positions despite Sophia's insistence. He took Lily 2 days each week, returning her with detailed notes about feedings and nap times, but little personal conversation. Sophia threw herself into her photography, accepting a major magazine assignment that required long hours in her studio. Work provided distraction, but nights were harder, the empty space beside her a constant reminder of possibilities unexplored. One rainy Tuesday, Sophia arrived at Nathan's apartment to pick up Lily and found him looking exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes. Rough shift? She asked, momentarily forgetting their careful distance. Nathan nodded. Lost a mother during childbirth. We saved the baby, but... He trailed off, the weight of loss evident in his voice. Without thinking, Sophia reached for his hand. I'm sorry. He looked down at their joined hands, then back at her face. Do you have time for coffee? Lily's still napping. Something in his vulnerable expression made refusal impossible. Soon they sat at his kitchen table, steaming mugs between them and the steady rhythm of rain against windows creating an intimate atmosphere. I've been thinking about us, Nathan said after a comfortable silence. About what went wrong? Sophia tensed. Nathan, we've been over this. No, please listen, he interrupted gently. I never told you why I took that Chicago fellowship. Why I missed our anniversary. Sophia's hands tightened around her mug. I assumed it was career advancement, like always. It was a fertility specialist, Nathan said quietly. The best in the country. We had been trying for a baby for a year with no success, and I thought... He took a deep breath. I wanted to surprise you with answers, with hope. Instead, I hurt you in the worst way. Sophia stared at him, shock replacing the old anger. You never told me. You were so hurt by my absence you didn't give me the chance, he replied without accusation. And I was too proud, too ashamed of potentially being the reason we couldn't conceive, to explain properly. So I let you believe your version of events, that my career would always come first. Tears welled in Sophia's eyes as pieces of their past rearranged themselves. All this time I thought, I know, Nathan said softly. And after the divorce, it seemed pointless to correct the narrative. Until Lily made me realize how much was lost through misunderstanding and pride. From the nursery came the sounds of Lily awakening. Sophia wiped her eyes, processing this revelation as Nathan went to retrieve their daughter. When he returned, Lily cuddled against his chest. Sophia saw them clearly, father and daughter, undeniably connected by more than biology. Nathan had become the father she'd always known he could be, while she remained trapped in fears born from an incomplete understanding of their past. I don't know if we can fix everything that went wrong, Sophia said carefully, but maybe we can build something new, something honest this time. Nathan's hopeful expression warmed her heart. I'd like that. In the weeks that followed, they began again, not with the passionate rush of their first romance, but with the deliberate care of people who knew the cost of miscommunication. They talked about the past, clearing misconceptions. They discussed the future, setting realistic expectations. Most importantly, they enjoyed the present, family dinners, weekend outings, and quiet evenings after Lily's bedtime when they rediscovered each other through unhurried conversations and increasingly tender touches. On a perfect May evening, as they sat on a blanket in the public garden watching sunset paint the sky in shades of gold and pink, Nathan took Sophia's hand. I want you to know that I'm not staying in Boston just for Lily, or even just for you, he said, his thumb tracing circles on her palm. I'm staying because I've finally figured out that success means nothing without the people you love beside you. It took losing you to understand that. Sophia leaned against his shoulder, Lily sleeping peacefully in the portable bassinet beside them. And it took finding you again to realize that people can change when they have the right reasons. Nathan turned to face her, his expression serious yet tender. I love you, Sophia. I never stopped. I just needed to become someone worthy of your love in return. You always were, she whispered. We both just needed to grow up a little. When Nathan kissed her this time, there was no hesitation, no boundaries, just the promise of a future built on understanding, forgiveness, and the miraculous second chance that had arrived with a snowstorm and a baby who had her father's eyes. As they walked home later, Lily cradled against Nathan's chest and Sophia's hand firmly in his. They formed a living bridge between past and future, proof that some endings are merely the beginning of a better story, waiting patiently to be told.